Please don't be blown. I can't believe this right now. This BMW 335i used to look like this. But in the last episode, we fully stripped this thing down to see if there's even a slight possibility to restore this thing to its former glory. And I think it is. This BMW E92 has been burned badly. In fact, so badly that most of the people are calling me crazy for even thinking that we can repair it.
We even got a pool. That is water. Cake.
But I believe that we can revive this twin-turbo 3-liter beast from the dead and give it a second life. If you haven't seen the last video, make sure to check it out before watching this one. But we ended the previous episode with stripping the thing down and removing the ECU and the comfort module which sits under there to get the keys made. Because, well, I didn't get any. So then I took the two modules with me to Lithuania, and guess what? Good news, we have keys now. So I got the keys and a lot of parts. And while the parts are getting shipped from Lithuania to Norway, in the meantime we can continue working on the car. So now I think the next order of business is to remove this window. I also bought the complete set that is gonna arrive for removing and installing windows, but I can't wait. So I want to remove the quarter panel as soon as possible. So we need to remove the window, the side skirt, or what this thing is called. Then I guess remove the seats and vacuum the interior. Now I want to remove the shadow line. Whoop. So I picked up this kind of string that I'm thinking to use to cut the window out. Ow. Wait, here I don't like exactly what I needed. So, but
No,
I broke it, okay.
no, good job. So then there's no complaint.
I forgot that it's not in place. So now the window is out. I think I will lift the front up, get the front in there, then remove the side skirt, and then work towards removing the seats. But that's gonna be tricky because there's no power supply to the seats, so we can move them forward or backwards. How do you get access to the bolts in the back? Because usually you could slide it as well. It's too hard to remove the seats with no electricity because you can't really move them forward and back. And the connectors, they are very cramped, so it's hard to get access. So we will leave them in for now. I will remove them when I have fixed the cables in the back so I can connect the battery properly. But now I'm thinking I will start undoing the spot welds for the whole quarter panel, which we'll probably cut around here and here. So then we need to do all these spot welds down this way. There are some spot welds here that we need to remove. No spot welds here. Then down there and around and cut it probably somewhere here. Hello. In fact, I was wrong, and the wheel arch is actually spot welded, so I was kinda struggling to get it off. And at this point, I'm just using a belt sander to sand away the spot welds. Now, after removing the wheel arch, I'm just using a belt sander to clean up the spot weld surfaces. Yeah, so now you can see that the whole panel is off. I spent also good time cleaning up everything. That is removing all the window glue residue all the way around here. Then also this side, everything here. Then I cleaned up all the spot welds here. You can see everything is now nice and clean. Also in here I tried to clean as best as I could. And as you can see, there's some damage here to the metal, but that's nothing bad. That's completely fine. We're gonna clean everything up and paint it. A very good thing is we can see that there's some smoke marks, smoke damage here, and it stops exactly here. So here's some kind of foam glue that connected to the panel, and you can see that after it, it's clean. So that is very good news. So we will just connect the new quarter panel probably here, and we're probably gonna take it a bit higher here. And that's probably gonna be where we connect it down there. These foam thingies I will take from the new quarter panel. So now I got the parts, the whole quarter panel, the trunk, some other parts covers rear part of the car, crash bar. Then here we have all the filters, oil, spark plugs, sway bar links in the back. We also have the rear lights, cabin filter and rear shocks. And of course everything that goes together with the shocks. Then I also picked up some paint stuff. Here we have the keys coated. Then we have other products such as Sim Seal, then some Bondo, some Hermetic. Then we have everything we need for windows, complete window removal toolkit, window glue, suction cups to put it in place, and yeah, some other parts such as some discs and stuff like that. For yesterday I did spend a lot of time cleaning it. It's still not done. I used a wire brush and tried to clean up the surface as best that I could. You can see here it looks pretty good, or it looks very good. I cleaned up down here. You can see all the rust is gone, and you can see there's slight rust here, and we will use rust converter, and that will stop the rust spread and remove the rust. I still need to do a bit up here, but I think it's gonna be good. I also bought this big angle grinder attachment. By the way guys, if you're thinking to get a belt sander, do it. It is the best tool ever. I didn't think it was gonna be this good, but perfect for taking away spot welds and cleaning up the surface for welding. 10 out of 10. It's gonna work good? Not sure. Let's test. So now actually before we continue rebuilding the car and cleaning up all the surfaces, taking the new quarter panel apart, I want to see if the car starts, if everything is okay with the engine. Now I can't fix these cables right now because I still haven't got them. I have a guy who's gonna cut out these cables that goes to the corner here, to the taillight and stuff like that, but I want to start it before that, or at least try to. And before we can do that, there are some things that we need to taken care of. Some of the cables, as you can see, are just cut off, and so we don't have a new fire. When we start it for the first time, or at least when we connect the battery, I am gonna try to open up the wires and, well, cut them at different lengths so they don't connect. This cable here is actually for the parking sensors, which I do have laying up there, so to be honest, we could fix that, but I don't want to spend my time with it right now. Yeah, now these wires are basically completely spread apart, so that's not going to be an issue. Okay, so all these ones are good. Yeah, so now you can see I marked with numbers everything, and here also on the connector. I managed to separate all these wires separately, so if anything is different, I can use this as a reference when I'm repairing this in the future. So I think all the cables are good now, so that's why I will install back in the car the comfort module that we removed to get the keys made. To be honest, I'm not gonna put the screw in yet. So now let's put back the ECU. It goes this way, I think. What did I just drop in? The ECU is in, and now we get the fire extinguisher ready. I picked up a brand new battery for this car because, well, you guys saw the state of the other one. Now one final look over things. I don't know, to be honest, I think we're good. What is happening? Fire? Hello? No fire? Nothing is working. Still no fire and nothing. Let's get the key out. Now there's some sound here. Oh yeah, it's shining. Oh, it's working. The light is working. Oh yes. Let's try to put the key in. Oi. Yes. So this door was just locked for some reason. Window? Yes. Haha. What? That's the only fault? Oh, it's in Fahrenheit. What? Holy cow. All the faults. Yeah, so the mileage is still in miles. That's crazy. Well, at least the right one is working. This one, there is a crack here. I did order only the glass, so I was hoping I could change the glass, but we will see. I don't know. I think it's good progress. So good. Well, the keys work then. So now I do want to start it, but we don't really know what's the state with the oil, if there's any oil. I will drain it. So now I will remove the filter, inspect it, drain the oil. Aye, how is the oil filter stuck? Yeah, I need to go and pick up a proper oil filter wrench. So I picked up the toolkit, but none of these fit. So that was a waste of money. How does that even work? The tool broke. Yes! Yeah, the filter seems pretty old. Whoop. Hard to see when the filter is old. Seems to be that there's some garbage, but... that I don't like. At this point I knew that something was catastrophically wrong. Now I'm adding some cheap oil because, well, we don't even know if the engine is alive. Then this is the new filter as well. Now none of the coils are plugged in. I will try to crank the engine over. hard to access the crankshaft to turn it manually. Holy shit. I don't know. They all look pretty similar to this. So now I put some oil in the cylinders, and I guess let's try to crank the engine with no spark plugs. No! No! So I removed the fan shroud and the belt. I undid the belt. So let's see if it turns over. Please don't be blown. I can't believe this right now. I just couldn't get it to turn over. Please don't be blown. Dead. It's dead. I can't believe this right now. No. What do we do now? What do we do now? Is there a point to even fix this? At this point I have bought literally everything to fix this thing. Quarter panel, all the covers, all the windows, rear bumper, rear trunk, then small things such as diffusers, paint, all the other stuff. And now this? I mean, another engine costs around 4,000 euros. And the cheapest E92 335i in Norway is actually like 260,000 krones, which is around 25,000 euros. And they go for a lot more even. I don't know. I mean, if we buy the engine, it's still way under the budget. I don't know. And at this point, it's not like I can return all these parts. I already bought them. I really did not expect the engine to be bad. Oh, that is awful. Nahui. Rear taillights. Cabin filter and rear shocks. You can see how clean this quarter panel is. Not a single spot of rust anywhere. This car was used in Germany, but the body is so nice. You can see how clean it is. So now we have to, well, do the same on this one that we did on that one. Remove everything. Remove the whole quarter panel. So I guess I will start with removing spot welds up here, here, down this way, all the way up here, down, and yeah, basically the same thing what we did. If you're wondering, I hate grinding sparks. That's why the helmet. So, new day, new me. The quarter panel is almost off. I just need to do all these spot welds on the bottom, then it will be off. But now I think I will do a bit of work on the car. I want to make here ready for the quarter panel And you can see that the surface is already pretty clean, but I'm gonna clean off the rust even more, because here you can see it slightly here, up here a bit. The rest we'll clean up later, but I'll go all over this again with a wire brush on an angle grinder. And firstly I will apply this. This is ferro bed rust remover, rust converter. So I'll apply that, let it sit for, as I'm taking off the quarter panel, then I'm gonna wipe it off. And then we will apply this thing, Brunox. This is rust converter and epoxy primer in one. So this eliminates the rust and what is left there and makes it into a solid surface for paint to stick. So if you put this with a brush, you can let it dry and you can put paint right over it. I also bought it in a spray bottle, but I think we'll apply it with a brush, it's gonna be a bit better. And we also have some rust-proof weld-through primer. So we will put this all around where we are gonna weld. So all around here, on the quarter panel, everywhere. Because this thing you can weld through. It doesn't matter if you put this and you weld on it, it's gonna just burn off. So now we'll clean this a bit and apply the rust converter. And then I will go over to removing the quarter panel. Now I also removed this piece. This piece is gonna go on first. We're gonna put a few tack welds and then we're gonna put on the quarter panel to measure everything. But before that I will clean off all the rust converter that has been working on the rust, as you can see. So we have the quarter panel on, overlapping the old panel. And we will mark here with a Sharpie or something sharp. Then we will cut the piece off the car so it matches perfectly. The quarter panel, we are not gonna cut more. And here. Here you can see everything lines up pretty good. Now we also fit the trunk fully and the rear lights, so you can see that everything fits snug and nicely. All the gaps are pretty good. The trunk is still completely loose, but we can see that this is decent, so everything seems to be good. Here it's pretty nice fit. We still are gonna adjust it more closer. Here it's not holding it, so it's have fallen up a bit. So we're gonna lift it up, and also down here. Pretty decent here as well for now. So now we'll remove everything again, the trunk, the quarter panel, the back skirt thing. I'm gonna paint the whole body. So then we're gonna coat it with this Brunox. We're gonna use a brush and put it on. Now I'm reinstalling these little support brackets for the quarter panel. I took them off from the parts quarter panel and I'm using this hermetic sealant that's made for bodywork to put it in place. Even though the quarter panel is welded in place, I guess these little brackets help it, well, be less flimsy. So now let's put on the quarter panel for the final time. Right here we are working on the trunk gaps and making sure that they're perfect, just so we can use that as guidance when we weld the quarter panel on. Now I'm making sure that the surface is straight, clean and ready for installing the rear part of the car. And since I bought the rear section brand new, there were no holes for the spot welds, so I had to drill them manually. And then lastly, do the door section of the quarter panel. So now finally all the metal work is finished. That took a very long time. It was a bunch of spot weld drilling and welding, and since I'm not that good at welding, grinding as well. So now this is how it came out here. It came out almost perfect. You can feel it's pretty straight with your hand, so you can make it perfect with some Bondo. Here also, and here as well. The thing is, actually you're not even gonna see this welds, because over here goes the little cover and the side skirt. So I also got the rear window. Fits pretty nice. Can also put the side window in place. Then I also got the rear bumper. So now this is the middle bumper bracket. That goes on like that. I'm not gonna put on the bumper bracket yet on the sides. This gap here looks pretty perfect. By the way, I got the taillights facelift, so it looks better because the normal ones are like normal bulbs and the facelift ones are like LEDs. That looks like a car. You can see that the diffuser has only one hole. We will fix that in the future. And there's a little nick that we will also need to fix. I can't believe that we actually have done so much work already. This car is gonna be sick. We would be very close to finishing it, if not the engine. Wow, it looks amazing. I originally thought that this is gonna take like few months, but I've been working non-stop for the past few weeks fixing this car. On video it probably looks easy, it took me a few days, but I've been working non-stop. There was so much spot weld drilling, welding, grinding, measuring. There's so much. Here there's gonna be the shadow line that goes around, and up here you will see it. But the gaps are, you could say, perfect. It's gonna be very nice after putting some Bondo. Up here you literally can't even see it. There's this gummy trim and the window that covers the whole thing up. Down there as well there's gonna go the door jamb trim, so that's also gonna be covered up. The gap here is, you could say it's almost perfect. The body line meets perfectly. The bumper is a bit sagging because now it's holding on a zip tie because I didn't put the whole bracket on, which I do have. But now you're probably wondering, what's the plan with this car? So now we know that it's in one piece, but we still need to clean the trunk up a bit. The roof, it's a bit smoky, so we need to clean that up. And when we will paint the side and bumpers and stuff, we need to paint the shelf from up and the roof from under. And of course the jambs around. But I think at this point it's not really worth it for us to continue working on the body if you know that well, engine is dead. So I think now we will leave it like that, and in the next video we will need to pull the engine out and strip it down to inspect what happened. But I'm guessing the crankshaft spun a bearing and it heated up so bad that it well locked up, so that will be interesting to take apart. Now I checked, another engine is actually around, with shipping and everything, is gonna be around 5,000 euros, and that's not really what I wanna put in this car. It's possible to get another block for like 600 euros and another crankshaft in good condition for maybe 1,200 euros. So maybe we will go that way and build the engine up from scratch, again with new bearings, piston rings and stuff like that, because I would rather spend the money on rebuilding it. Of course it's gonna take a lot of more time and stuff, but then at least we know what engine we have. If you buy a used one, it's easier, faster, but we don't know, maybe it's gonna blow after 10,000 kilometers. We don't know that. If I would have found out that the engine is dead before starting the rebuild, I'm not sure what I would have done. Many of my viewers are from Europe, from US, and there the 335i's are dirt cheap. You can get one for $10,000, $8,000, even cheaper. But here in Norway we have a different kind of market. Actually I said earlier in the video that the cheapest one, 335i, is 260,000 crowns. Well, that's sold. So at this point, at the upload of this video, the cheapest one is around 330,000 crowns, which is like 32,000 euros. To you guys, it may seem like that's crazy prices and no one would pay that much for this car, but people are actually buying it. It's a very popular car in Norway, and the reason for because it's so expensive is because there's so high import tax in Norway. So on used cars, on new cars, you just have to pay the huge tax. So even if you import a car from US, from Europe, you need to pay the tax. And then the whole price of the car and the tax together, it ends up being, well, up to market price, which is, well, let's say 300,000. Of course, this car is never gonna be worth as much because of the damage, and I do understand it. So it's always going to be a lower price than average. This is of course my first time rebuilding a car like this, and I have done a bunch of research how to do it. So I'm trying to do everything as good as possible. So if you saw something wrong that I did, please let me know. But I think this car is going to come out extremely nice. So in the next video, pull the engine out with the gearbox. I'm not even sure how we're supposed to do that. Then I guess inspect the engine, maybe rebuild it or maybe get another one. We will see when we get it, or if we get the engine running and the car working. I am kind of considering myself because we already spent so much money on it. In Norway, all this painting is gonna cost a lot of money, and I'm saying a lot. So if there is any bodywork guys watching, please leave a comment and maybe we can reach out to each other. You can give me some tips. I have some questions about bodywork. I don't know yet. Now you're probably wondering as well, how did it end up the way that the engine is blown and I did not know about it? So the previous owner, apparently he bought it from someone else, and then he was gonna fix it himself, then he didn't do it and sold it to me. And he did say the engine was running fine. The car was supposedly in everyday use, but well, the engine is locked. But yeah, I don't know, I'm not pointing any fingers. Stuff like this happen when you're buying projects like these. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video because well, I did enjoy fixing it. And I hope you guys can like and share this video because this is gonna end up costing me way more than I expected it to be. And I hope to see you in the next one.